What's going on YouTube? So if you've ever been in the market for a luxury crossover, it's almost certainty that you checked out the Lexus RX.
And despite just being redesigned last year, Lexus is giving you quite a few more tech and luxury goodies for 2024.
So with more updates than what meets the eye, is this still one of the best luxury crossovers? Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so let's kick things off here, as always, under the hood. Now with this next generation RX, you've got a lot of different powertrain choices. And for 2024, one of the new things is the fact that the 450h Plus, which means the plug-in hybrid variant, will now become available for you guys to purchase. That's gonna be the model that provides you with 35 miles of estimated pure electric range. Now the other three powertrains are going to carry on unchanged for 2024. That includes the RX 350 we have today with 275 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque from a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine.
Now for the RX 350, you have an 8-speed automatic transmission, the option between front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And for the all-wheel drive model, we're sitting at 24 miles a gallon combined.
Now, of course, later on in this video, we're going to go out for a test drive. That's where we're going to get things like our signature sound level reading so that we can compare to the RX's rivals on carconfections.com. But first, we're going to go ahead, close up the hood, take a look at the exterior design before we get into some more of those updates. Now, of course, this RX was just fully redesigned, so that does mean it continues on with that new Lexus RX design. It's not a radical departure from the previous generation, but it does have some distinct elements. One of those really distinct elements, of course, is this new signature lip, where it kind of bleeds over into the spindle grille with this body color finish. This is a distinct looking element. It's also distinctly different from the Lexus TX, the upcoming model, which we look forward to sampling very soon. Now, as far as the rest of the grille, you got that signature spindle look. It's going to be more aggressive if you choose the F Sport models. And let's come over here to the headlights. These are also the signature Lexus design. These are the optional triple beam LED headlights. As you can see, very premium look to these. You've got the Arrowhead daytime running light and turn signal indicator. Plus down below, you're also going to find LED fog lamps. Now, as we head into the rear design, of course, you're going to find the latest Lexus design language.
Yeah, and it's a very handsome look overall. So let's go ahead and dive into some of those features that you're going to get. The main one is the taillight unit back here. So of course it is a full-length LED accented taillight, but let's see if all three of the taillight elements are LED. So we do have an LED brake light, LED reverse light, and LED turn signal indicator. So all of your taillight elements on all RXs are LED. I really like that. I also really like that the wiper is hidden underneath the spoiler. It gives it a clean look. Now as we drop down to this lower area, this is going to have a silver finish for this model as equipped today. Now if you really want the aggressive look though, you can get the 500h F Sport Performance. That's going to give you a mesh design down here, really amp up the level of sportiness in your RX, but no models are going to have exposed exhaust outlets.
Now moving on to our wheels, we have a lot of different choices. You're going to begin at 19 inches, but you can work your way up to 21-inch alloy wheels, which is actually what we have here on the Luxury. This is going to be the largest wheel they offer outside of the Performance 500h model. And as you can see, nice gray finish to this that's exclusive to this trim. It looks very nice. Now it also looks nice in contrast to this pearly white paint, and that brings me to one of our 2024 updates we need to talk about. We have some new colors. So Cloudburst Gray Metallic is a new color for the RX lineup. We did look at that in person. Looks quite nice. They've also expanded availability of the Copper Crest. So you probably saw that on the 500h Performance models last year. Now you can get that on some of the other trim levels for 2024. Now, as we pull back to the mirrors, as you can see, we're going to have all the features on board. So it's going to be power folding, auto dimming, blind spot monitoring, and heating.
Now, before going any further, I did forget to mention that the tow rating is 3,500 pounds for this RX 350 model. Now, as far as the length of this vehicle, it's 192.5 inches long. Of course, you have a lot of really cool design elements going on here at the side, and I do want to talk about your safety systems because this is a very impressive area for the Lexus RX. You're going to get all 4 of your active safety features as standard equipment on every RX model, which is distinctly different from what you get on some of the German rivals. Additionally, you do also have a traffic jam assistant, which will allow for limited hands-free driving at speeds of under 25 miles per hour. But guys, that's going to wrap up the exterior changes. There are some tech improvements on the inside, so let's go ahead and check that out. But before, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
and we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Now let's go ahead and move on to the interior. First, of course, we'll take a look at our key fob. This is your typical Lexus key fob with your buttons here on the back. You do have the availability of digital key, and that's now going to be optional on every single trim level for 2024. Now to get inside the vehicle, just grab behind the handle. This does have the new touch-sensitive pad, so you squeeze it and that's what's going to actually unlock the door and open it up. Now taking a look inside, of course you do have the latest RX design from the full redesign last year. And let's start off by talking about the interior material and color options first of all. Now with this model, there are a ton of options. I'm not going to go through every single one of them because you have 5 different interior material selections in terms of your seating. But for this luxury, what makes this special, one of the things that makes it special that is that we have semi-aniline leather. So you'll see that we have a really nice supple leather running through the center section. We also have these Alcantara inserts, which have the quilted design over here on the side. Just overall, it gives it a nice luxurious feel. And as far as our color choices, you can choose this black, macadamia, or a peppercorn color. As far as the seat controls, you do have some additional adjustments for the luxury model, which are your power thigh extension, as you can see. So that's quite nice. But let's go ahead and get inside. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the luxury inside of the cabin. Of course, you are going to have a lot of nice materials, including a nicely padded leather armrest with stitching detail. It's going to be leather all through the center section. We also have Alcantara running through the middle of the door trim. And by the way, this is where your memory seats are going to be located since they're not on the door trim. As we move up to the upper dash, this is all going to be a soft touch plastic up through here. You've got more of that Alcantara trim that runs into there. And you'll notice a lot of nice open pore wood. So we have this dark color finish here with this luxury trim. I really like this. It feels very nice because it is open pore. And then we've got the nice leather padding all through here. Of course, being a Lexus, everything is very, very solid. Now to fire it up, press the push button start located up here. Now I went ahead and switch into a first-person perspective so we can take a closer look at the details. We'll start off, of course, with our gauge cluster. So what you're looking at is a approximately 8-inch display. This is kind of a partially digital gauge cluster design. You can't do a lot in terms of reconfiguring this right here, but the reason why is because many of the trim levels are including a head-up display, and it's not just the normal head-up display. You have a lot of different functions inside of this, so you can actually use the touch capacitive controls on the steering wheel on both sides to make almost all of your adjustments up here in the HUD, so you don't even have to look down from the road. I definitely like that. Now as we pull back to the steering wheel, you'll notice the latest Lexus design. Very nicely finished, especially here on the luxury. We've got the open pore wood integrated into the front part of the steering wheel. It's going to have a nice thick rim, and standard on every RX is going to be a power adjusting steering wheel. We also have steering wheel heating. But let's go ahead and take a look at interior storage next. Open up our console here. This here is going to be our donut test, and in our donut test we see how many donuts, of course, are going to fit into the center console. In this case, it's going to be 12. So that's exactly a dozen, and that means it does pass our donut test. Up in front of that, you got your two cup holders. You can slide back that piece of wood to reveal a nicely sized storage bin. This is quite deep. You'll also find your wireless phone charging pad on board, which is going to be available, or standard, excuse me, on premium and above. And you have another storage shelf right there. Now you do have a nice compact shifter, which is what allows you to have a good amount of storage inside this cabin. Just to press over to the left, pull back for drive. You can bump back again if you want to activate a manual mode, and you do have paddle shifters integrated onto the steering wheel, even for the luxury trim level. Do the opposite when you want to go into reverse, and that's going to be your available 360-degree camera system. So as you can see, nice look to this, good resolution. We have the active trajectory. Almost every single trim level will come with parking sensors as well. And as I kind of scoot back here, you'll notice one of the cool tricks of this system is the fact that you have the transparent view. So you can kind of see through your vehicle based on what it had previously observed. That's pretty neat. In addition, I do want to talk about a new feature for 2024. This is where the new tech kind of comes in. Lexus is introducing a new feature called Advanced Park with Remote Park. This is going to be on this luxury trim level, and what it basically does is allow for automatic maneuvers such as parallel and perpendicular parking with 12 ultrasonic sensors, and of course it also has the 360 camera system. What's interesting about this is they say that this can actually be controlled outside of the vehicle via the Lexus app. So that's a cool new addition for 2024. That feature is part of the convenience package, which also includes the traffic jam assistant. But now that we're up in this area, let's go ahead and first take a sample of the audio system. So as you expect for the luxury model, we do have the 21 speaker Mark Levinson Pure Play audio system as an optional feature. And let's go ahead and give it a sample. Yeah, so overall sound quality of this system is quite nice. The only thing that would make it maybe sound a little better is if it had metal speaker grills. Let's go ahead and take a look at the climate controls. Now this is going to be located in the lower section of the display, but you also have the physical controls right there for your temperature adjustment. We have a 3-zone automatic setup on board that's included with the Premium Plus trim level and above. We also have 3-stage heated seats. Those are going to be standard on all models. 3-stage ventilated seats are actually going to be standard on all but the base trim level. And one of the things I like about this is the fact that they're automatic. So with the Climate Concierge system, it'll actually go ahead and turn those on and off as needed based on this one temperature adjustment. That's a nice thing that Lexus does. Now, talking about the display itself. This, what you're looking at right now, is a 14-inch display. You do have a 9.8-inch display as standard equipment, but most of the models are going to come with this 14-inch display. This is running the newest Lexus infotainment system, so you do have nice features including wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay, and then everything's just going to be located through these very simple 5 little shortcuts down here along the side. So it's an easy and responsive system to get used to. As you move above, this model is equipped with the optional digital camera system. So as you can see, when I flip that switch, you have that rear view completely unobstructed. This is now part of a technology package with the digital key for 2024. We also have our HomeLink remotes down there below. And up top here, I'll go ahead and roll back the sunshade for our panoramic sunroof. This year, this is standard on just the luxury trim level, but as you can see, it's a very large piece of glass. You can also open up the front panel.
Now that we're in the RX's rear seat, you're going to find a lot of luxury goodies for the luxury model. So let's go ahead and first dive in with the space, and then we'll hit those luxury features. So as far as the space is concerned, we're sitting at 37.4 inches of rear legroom, 37 inches of headroom. That's a good amount of space for a mid-sized vehicle like this. It is not going to be a class leader, though, in terms of rear space. And as far as with the seat adjusted to Drew, who's 5'8". I'm 5'9". I'm sitting at a little over 8 inches of knee space, and my feet can easily slide up underneath the seat. So pretty comfortable overall. But let's get into those luxury features. So here in the center, we do have vents on all models. Additionally, you're going to have your own climate zone, which is very nice. So you can adjust your own independent temperature. And then off to the side, you're going to find some of those really nice luxury features. So here on the luxury model, we have 3-stage heated rear seats, but we also have 3-stage ventilated rear seats. That is standard on the luxury, optional on the 500h F Sport Performance. Additionally, we have 2 USB ports off to the side of that. We have a nice fold-down center armrest with cup holders inside. Little storage cubby inside of here as well, so if you want to fit a couple donuts in here, that might work. But we're not done with luxury features yet, because you will notice a little button here on the side of the rear seat, and that's actually because we can power recline these rear seats. So with the press of a button, I can, power recline back up. All the luxury goodie features that you're wanting in this RX are included with that luxury model. So certainly very nice. You typically don't get a power seat in this segment. Now, let's go ahead and turn to the door trim. The door trim is also going to have a lot of features, including rear window sunshades. So you have that. You also have some more Alcantara, leather through most of it. And then down in the very bottom, we do have some bottle storage. And walking up to the tailgate, we do have a power tailgate as standard equipment. We also have the optional kick sensor. So just kick your foot under the bumper. And as you can see, it does open right up. It also works with the tow hitch installed, which is not very common for vehicles that have tow hitches, that's for sure. Now, as far as the space is concerned back here, we're sitting at about 29 cubic feet behind the second row seats. And if we fold those down, we have a maximum of about 46 cubic feet. Now, that goes for all versions of the Lexus RX, the 350, the 350h, the 450h Plus, and the 500h. So that's all of their cargo ratings. It's worth noting that's not a very big rating. It's a lot behind the BMW X5 and Mercedes-Benz GLE. It's even smaller than some of the vehicles in the segment below. So not a ton of space back here, which is a little disappointing. Now, as far as some of the features are concerned, we do have a cargo cover up top, and then we do have a few optional goodies. So here on the side, you will notice the buttons to power fold the second row seats, because we do have that power option that's standard on the luxury model. Additionally, I want to point out that these are actually 40-20-40 split folding seats instead of the 60-40, so that gives you the additional capability of that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get my tape measure out so I can see how much length there is in the cargo area. We're sitting at about 73 inches long for this RX. And then as far as the width is concerned, we're sitting at 42 inches wide. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, you see how sloped back this is? You're not going to be able to stack up too tall in this RX. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the 2024 Lexus RX 350. In this part of the video, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, including getting our sound level reading. But first, let's go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
There's a quick punch of the accelerator with this RX 350. Now, 350 is the version that most people are honestly going to buy.
Yep.
This is the most common version, but as you may have remembered from videos last year, the V6 is gone in this new generation, and in its place we have the 2.4 liter 4-cylinder engine, turbocharged of course, and that makes 275 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque. If you're coming from the previous generation, that is actually going to be a little less horsepower, but substantially more torque, and I think that's really what you feel as soon as you roll onto the throttle, is that kind of punchy feel that you get with a lot of turbo 4 cylinders. You definitely have that here with this one.
Yeah, and it's definitely a pretty good acceleration for this segment of vehicle. Now, of course, like we've said throughout, especially at the spec dump, we talked about all the different choices that you have. When it comes to the powertrains, there are actually 4 total. So this 350 is, like Drew said, probably the most common one that you're going to find, but there's also a 350h hybrid. So that's going to be the one in the lineup that gets you the best fuel economy, and that's going to be 246 horsepower, 233 pound-feet of torque. So it's a relatively lower price point vehicle. It's pretty much in line with this 350 model, but it has a little less horsepower, but it's going to get you a lot better fuel economy if you kind of want the synopsis of what that model is going to be. Now, additionally, they have the 500h F Sport Performance. Now, hence the name Performance. That's going to be your fastest option in the segment, or in the lineup, excuse me. That's going to be 366 horsepower, 406 pound-feet of torque. That also is a hybrid system, but it's really geared towards the performance end more so than the fuel economy, although it does still get decent fuel economy. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And then now, new for 2024, you have the plug-in hybrid 450h Plus. Whew, Lexus with all these different numbers and H's and all that. It's confusing, but bear with me here. 450h Plus is the plug-in hybrid model. That's going to have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, 304 horsepower for that model, and that has 35 miles of estimated EPA range.
Whew. A lot going on, but that's a good thing for you as a consumer, because you do have a lot of choices when you walk into your Lexus dealer. You can pick what's going to match your lifestyle the best. If you want to go fast, get the 500h. You want the best fuel economy, get that 350h. You want kind of that traditional experience, get this 350 model.
If you want the electric one, get the 450h Plus.
Exactly. Yeah, the choice is yours. Now, as far as the transmission on board for this model, the 350, it's going to be an 8-speed automatic transmission. Also available include 6-speed automatics,
CVT.
CVT as well, depending on your choice of powertrain once again.
Yeah, so if you guys are really looking at other versions of the RX, we have driven the 500h F Sport Performance. We've also driven the 350h hybrid model. So the only one that we haven't been in yet is the 450h Plus. So if you're interested in that, you can find those other videos on our channel if you're interested about the whole powertrain dynamics.
Exactly, and we look forward to trying out the 450h Plus. Soon we should be able to get our hands on one of those and show you guys that plug-in hybrid experience as well.
But now that we're just kind of cruising out on the highway, finally getting away from some traffic, I do want to talk about this vehicle's ride quality, because we spent extensive time with this Lexus RX. We've had it for a full week. We drove, like we said, a lot of models last year. And this vehicle just nails the ride quality department. It's an RX after all. They have not messed with success for this new generation. It rides really phenomenally. Even with the 21-inch wheels that we have on this luxury model, it is very, very impressive. Now, I will say this luxury does ride better, in my opinion, than the F Sports. So if you want the maximum or best ride quality experience, get the luxury models. Honestly, I think that's probably where I would lean towards if I was buying in this segment of vehicle.
Right. And on the F Sport side of things, those models are coming with adaptive dampers. So that does allow you a little bit of customizability in this, where this one is going to be locked into luxury.
All right, and let's get our sound level reading going 55 miles per hour. Very impressive. 53.9 decibels is what we're sitting at for this Lexus RX 350 Luxury. And what am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and go to our website, carconfections.com, because like we said at the beginning of the video, we actually have tested out really this vehicle, all of this vehicle's rivals, and we have those sound level readings posted on our website so we can see how this vehicle compares in terms of the noise entering into the cabin. And as far as how that compares to those rivals, well, it's going to be very solid. It's within the top 5 in the segment. It's right on par with the Lexus RX 350 F Sport that we tested out earlier in the year. It's a little bit quieter than the 500H that we tested out. So really all the vehicles in this segment are very quiet, so you don't have to worry about that. But certainly one of the better ones in this segment.
As we kind of go around a corner there, do want to mention, of course, your driving dynamics. One of the things with this new generation, I think, is that overall, this has gotten a lot more dynamically capable than the previous model. Even in this luxury trim, it feels a lot more balanced than the last generation. Also, the steering has a little bit more heft and a little bit more feel to it than it did previously. But of course, if you do want a little bit more of a sporty dynamic, this isn't the trim level to choose. Choose one of the F Sport models. Those are going to firm up the dampers a little bit, give you a little bit more aggressive steering and throttle response, especially if you're going for that 500H.
And we haven't mentioned fuel economy just yet in the video, so let's go ahead and talk about that. Now, there are a lot of different options. I'm not going to go through all of them, so you breathe a sigh of relief there. But this 350 all-wheel drive, which is probably the most popular combination, is coming in at 24 miles a gallon combined for 2024. Now, like I said, the best fuel economy can be had with the 350H model. That comes in at 36 miles per gallon combined, and that is all-wheel drive exclusive. The 500H F Sport performance is about 27 miles a gallon combined. So really, you're actually getting better fuel economy out of the 500H model than you are in this 350. So that's one thing worth noting. And that leads me really well to talking about today's airball. Now, this 350 model certainly is a good option, but I don't think it's the best option in the lineup. I think one of the hybrid models certainly is the better choice. You're getting either better fuel economy or you're getting better performance. Also, the plug-in hybrid is definitely a good option for those of you wanting that a little bit of electrification. So this 350 model just doesn't make as much sense to me as some of the other options. And I will say that the 2.4 liter can get a little loud and unrefined under super hard acceleration.
Yeah, but on the slam dunk side of things, it's really going to be tied in closely to that. It's the fact that you have so many other options. No one really does that too often in any types of vehicles, like where they give you 4 different powertrain options. So again, you have all those choices at your fingertips.
And lastly, talking about your warranty, you're going to have Lexus Signature Warranty for your 50,000 mile basic, 6-year 70,000 mile powertrain. Additionally, you're going to have your first and second maintenance visit covered complimentary, which is certainly very nice. And let's talk pricing for the 2024 Lexus RX. Now, prices this year are going to rise about $1,000 to $2,000 depending on what trim level you go for. We now have a base price of $49,950 for the RX 350 base model. Now, as far as some of the other models, there are quite a few different options to pick from. The 500 F Sport Performance starts at $63,800, and that new 450H plug-in hybrid is going to start at over $70,000. Now, as far as this model is concerned, this is the 350 Luxury. We do have every option pretty much that you can get on this model, plus the 1350 Destination. We're sitting at $68,285. Now, if you're a smart shopper, the next place you're going to go to is carconfections.com/newcarquotes, because on there we have a tool that will allow you to be connected with dealers in your local area to get you the best price, as well as access to invoice pricing information. If you'd like to take advantage of that offer, go ahead and click the link in the video description. And that's going to be where we leave off on this in-depth review of the 2024 Lexus RX 350. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you help give us access to the newest vehicles on the market, like this 2024 Lexus RX, and we can show you guys some of those changes year over year. If you're already a fan and subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.